Hello everybody, it's VerticalSandwich. Welcome back to Let's Play Destroy All Humans. We were looking for stuff at this farm, and we found all the probes but two. Wait, what was I getting a life bar for? The chicken? Can I fry the chickens here? Wow, we really threw that chicken. They don't even exist anymore after we PK them. Look at that.
Leave me alone!
Can I hit that guy with a chicken? Alright, anyway. Let's get out of here. So in our last video we were talking about science fiction, right? And we were talking about fridging the girlfriend. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, there's really good... It's not about not sexualizing women or men or whatever. I mean, that's not what I'm trying to say that shouldn't be done. What I'm saying is... Okay, so the end of Kurt Vonnegut's Breakfast of Champions, right? Is... At the end, he says, kind of... And I'm not ruining the plot of the novel for you, but one of the things he says at the end is he says, you know, I've spent my whole life... He was 50 at the time. So I spent my whole life writing stories as if they have main characters and minor characters and heroes and villains and beginnings and ends. And he's like, and life isn't that. And it's like, life is just a bunch of people trying to get through whatever this all is. And he's like, so from now on, I'm going to write stories like that. And I like that. I appreciate the thought. I don't know that Vonnegut really accomplished that with his later novels. His later novels some of them are amazing. Some of them I didn't like, but I would suggest anybody read Timequake. Timequake is unbelievably good. Alright, let's check out Summer of the Damned, and we can talk a little bit more about this.
The success of the broadcast depends on you, Crypto. You must protect those towering transmission towers! Each tower has a transmitter at its base. If the army want to stop the broadcast, they'll have to take out those transmitters first.
Okay. Whether to address nation at 6 p.m., SMBC remained tight-lipped over content of news special. Okay.
Regiments 2 and 4, form up at the main junction. 1 and 3, take the flank. Attack waves, target the infrastructure. I want those comm towers out of commission. Support waves, your task is simple. Destroy the communist insurgents holding the television station. No beet-eating, vodka-swilling, Trotskyite son of a bitch is gonna hijack this great nation's God-given airways. Not on my watch.
We'll
Charge!
see about that. They're just right in front of me. I'm not gonna spawn with them right in front of me, am I? Oh, I
Enemies
am.
are heading towards
Well,
Tower
interesting.
1.
It's MCBS. We'll bring you further news as it unfolds.
Okay.
Good day, John and Jane America, from north to south, from sea to shining sea. This is Bert Wither, coming to you live from a secure
Enemies
SMCBS
are heading towards
studio
Tower 1.
at an undisclosed location in America's sunshine capital, Santa Modesta, with a special news bulletin. For years, America has been a beacon of hope to the
Tower
world.
1 is being
But today
attacked.
comes
Your
disturbing.
moment has
Our
arrived,
very way of
Crypto.
life is under attack. Our great nation devoured from within by a malignant tumor of corruption.
Okay.
Yes, you heard it here first. The very heart
Tower
of power
1
in the
is being
United States of
attacked.
Tower
America
1? Where's
is
Tower
now
1?
cancerous. Its benevolent might bent to a crooked will. The insidious nature of this cancer right after a word from our sponsor.
Tower 1 is being attacked. Your moment has arrived.
Oh, Tower 1's all the way over there.
Second unit, ready and in position.
See.
Wait for it.
Enemies are heading towards
Sweeps the
Tower
country
1.
like a fever.
Yeah, I get
Police
that.
Civil liberties, arrest
They're heading towards every
without
tower.
cause, even brazenly engage in criminal and unconstitutional behavior. I have here a secret affidavit
Tower 1
signed
is
by the
being
chief of the
attacked.
Santa Modesto Police Department, attesting not only to the existence of these abuses, but to their orchestration by an agency of our own federal government. Up to now, many Americans believe such a thing could never
Tower
happen
2
here in
is
the
under
land of
fire.
liberty, but happen it has. More to come after these commercial messages.
Tower 1 is under fire. Let them have it, Crypto.
Okay, but I really need more
Tower 2 is being
disintegrator
attacked.
stuff.
Hit them
Tanks,
back.
roll
and
in the
hit them
tank.
hard.
Show them some American steel.
Federal agency behind the new terror in our streets. The terror of cops gone bad. But if policy
Uh-oh,
is
that's not
corrupt,
gonna hit him.
what are the government responsible?
Oh, maybe it is.
SMCBS has acquired extensive documented
It is.
footage. Shadowy federal agents in reasonably priced black suits in Rockwell, Santa Modesto, even Capital City. Shown here abducting innocent citizens in unmarked black sedans. No arrest records exist. Yet to date, over 1,100 people have disappeared.
Two is
Their
under
families
fire.
kept in the dark.
Come on,
and
Crypto.
still the U.S. government
Do that
remains silent.
voodoo that you
Refuses
do
to
so
acknowledge
well.
these abductions ever took place. Why has our government deserted us? Stay tuned.
Okay. All right.
Tower 1 is being attacked.
Okay, I gotta go respawn my health before I get killed.
Tower 1 is under fire.
Yeah, but I
Let them
can't
have
do
it,
anything,
Crypto.
buddy. There we go.
Tower 1 is being attacked. Your moment has arrived, Crypto. Tower 2 is under fire. Come on, Crypto. Do that voodoo that you do so well.
Yeah. Well, I knew he was gonna shoot at me, but wow, he got 2 shots off there. Pretty crazy. Not what I was going for.
Destroyed entire Korean villages.
Tower 1 is under fire.
What are those? Unfair.
Take out those towers now! All units, attack! Attack! Attack!
Come on.
Prepare for the next assault. Get them up, get them over, get them out.
In a few moments until the army destroys our building. They're deploying tanks and, good lord, giant robots. We cannot survive for long. But in these moments, I want to share a new hope. SMCBS correspondents have uncovered something incredible. For the first time in history,
Okay, I got that guy.
An alien race has visited Earth and apparently repeated attempts to communicate their message. Befriend all humans.
Cool.
Tragically, these gentle, intelligent creatures are being systematically exterminated by government agencies. Are these interstellar ambassadors our
Mission
last
complete.
hope for a peaceful human future? Could they
Nice!
take
We're doing
back
it
America?
live!
May Providence smile upon us all.
Take
This
that, Bill
is Burt
O'Reilly.
Wither saying goodbye.
Burt Wither, Prophet or Puppet? Surprise broadcast feels hunt for communists. Okay. When you're ready. Oh, jeez! They're still trying to kill me! No, I don't want to be killed! I just want brains. Alright, let's go around here somewhere. I actually want to go check out what's over here. So, back to what we were talking about. Yeah, I just like... I like stories with, you know, I like stories where I get to care about the characters, and the characters are, you know, not necessarily treated well, but treated like they're important. And that's, you know, that's a thing that you don't always find in literature. It's not necessarily all sci-fi. You know, it's not like sci-fi or only sci-fi. It just certainly seems like it is sci-fi sometimes. And maybe some of that has to do with the industry itself, that it's a man-dominated industry, and that it's an industry that flourished in the 50s and 60s. I don't know. And some of it has to do with the standards, right? That you can expect more from sci-fi. Then you can, like, stuff like that in a horror movie, you just go like, oh yeah, pointless violence on, you know, nonsensical character. Like, that's the whole basis of horror. Whereas, you know, I get maybe science fiction, we just expect more humanity for the humans. I don't know. There's a lot of things. Like I said, it's just a thing I think about. I think I've been thinking a lot about character development and noticing a lot of underdevelopment of female characters. In stories I read, in sci-fi stories I read. What's really crazy too is like Fire Upon the Deep is really is bad. I think that's the one I'm talking about, but like, no, I think it's a deepness in the sky. Fire Upon the Deep is like the good novel. But the like Werner, I think it's Werner Vinge. I'm gonna go with Vinge. It could be Vinge. He wrote he wrote a trilogy of books, and it's a book, it's a sequel and a prequel. And the original book, which I think is Deepness in the Sky, now that I think about it, is great. It's fantastic, and so is the sequel. And in the sequel, the female main character gets beaten up a lot. Like, a ton. But it serves a plot purpose, right? And it develops her as a character. I don't mind it. And then the third book does something different than that. The prequel. The prequel does horrible stuff. Skip it. If you're reading that series of books, read the first two and don't read the third one. That's my rant about sci-fi, I guess. Which I've been reading a lot of. I'm also still reading presidential biographies in order, and I just got to James Garfield. So I'm about halfway done. And they should start going pretty quickly here. I'm more than halfway done. Because I'm probably not going to... I'll do brief recaps on Teddy Roosevelt and Harry Truman, but I've read pretty extensive biographies of them. So... And, you know, that doesn't preclude that I might read another one, because I certainly did that with Jefferson. I've read 3 biographies of Thomas Jefferson. I knew there'd be one behind the donut shop.
Did somebody say something?
So I don't know. I mean, I might read some more stuff about them, but of Garfield, and then I have the one after that as well. And then I start getting into weird stuff. I'm gonna stop at either LBJ or Nixon. For a variety of reasons.
Stop right there.
One of them being I just don't want to read a biography of Ford. But more so, I want to stop somewhere along. It takes some good perspective, right? Once somebody dies, to write a good biography. And I know that there are like award-winning biographies of Lyndon Johnson. He was a president during a very interesting time in American history, the escalation of the Vietnam War and all that stuff. And Nixon is also a very interesting character. He's a very important character in American politics. He hasn't been dead for an incredibly long time. But whereas Ford's been dead even less time, and he's a character who is notable most for A, never being elected either vice president or president and still assuming the presidency. And B, pardoning Nixon. And I don't know. It seems like a lackluster thing to read in a story of an entire man's life about. And then at that point, after that, we get to Carter, who's still alive, at least as of this recording. I mean, I know he has terminal brain cancer. And Reagan, who is dead, but who I remember, because I'm old enough to remember Reagan. And I just don't want to. I don't want to read. I don't want to read a historian's perspective about stuff I remember. That it's just not where I want to go with this. The whole idea of reading these books was to learn more about the history of the country I live in. You know, and I thought that if you wanted to get an overview of American history, sequential presidential biographies would give you a pretty detailed overview from a lot of perspectives in sequence. And it has done that. I know a lot about, I just finished Rutherford B. Hayes. I know a lot about railroad strikes now. And the labor movement in the 1870s. And that was what I wanted, was to kind of, learn a little bit more about the way this country, the way this, you know about, there are certain things that you know about as a citizen of your country, and just certain things that any kind of general education won't cover. Like an education in history would have covered a lot of the stuff that I'm learning about, but I didn't get an education in history. I got a public school education that covered that there was a Civil War and a Revolutionary War, but didn't cover, how the Civil War changed the relationship within our federal government, which it did drastically. A general education will talk to you about the Trail of Tears, but not how Andrew Jackson's presidency changed the entire power structure of our three-party system, which it did. And for me, that was the important purpose. Okay, I gotta get back to my saucer. Because I'm drawing way too much. Way too much. So that's what's up with me right now. Is I'm reading something different right now. I'm not reading any kind of classic sci-fi. I'm reading kind of what blew up that tank? It didn't even blow it up. Whatever hit that tank is ready to shoot me. Yeah, right now I'm reading a trilogy of books that are kind of comedy sci-fi. The Illuminatus trilogy. They're fun. Very smart books. But very goofy. Kind of like Hitchhiker's Guide level of goofy. Which, by the way, I've read the entire Hitchhiker's Guide series as well. It's worth it. It's worth it just for the 5th book. The 5th book is so good. Like, they get worse. It's like the first book's good. Second book is, like, not as good. Third book is still, like, not as good as the... And then, like, by 4th book, you're like, why am I still reading this? And then you read the 5th book, and you're like, that's how you end a book series. And I read the 6th book that was written after he was written by, like, an author at the request of his family. And, don't. It's, I guess it's all right. I gotta just return to the mothership. Okay, when we come back, more of this. Bye, everybody.